Hello, Anne Emery here. I'm speaking to you tonight from Birmingham. Check out this fancy Hyatt hotel room setup. I was teaching a workshop earlier today for some grantees, and now I'm just trying to tucker myself out before I go to bed. I was going to go to the gym. I've got my gym shoes on, they're pretty fancy back here, but I thought, why go to the gym when I can write a blog post or do some data visualization, because that's what nerdy people like me do for fun. So here I am blogging and graphing when I should be getting my step count up, but oh well, that's a problem for another day. Today's problem that I want to focus on is these pie charts. Oh my goodness. I was with a group in Indianapolis a few weeks ago, and a lot of people in that room, actually a lot of people everywhere that I work with, they have graphs that look like this. They've got quarterly breakouts by gender, so they're trying to show how many males they worked with, first quarter compared to second quarter, compared to third quarter, compared to fourth quarter. It's a lot of work zigzagging around the page when you do it like this, because you have to look at one slice and then another slice, and then you zigzag over here for another slice, and then way over here for another slice. I get tired just thinking about it. Actually, I'm probably ready for bed, actually, just looking at these pie charts. So I wrote a whole blog post about how to do this better, and I included a bunch of sketches in my blog post. This is going to be published tomorrow or today or 5 weeks ago, whenever you're viewing this video. And I was like, man, everybody's going to see these sketches and they're going to say, and I just want to see those graphs larger anyway, or send me the templates. So that's what I did. I made the templates for you. Let me walk you through what this file looks like. So up at the top, you get to type in how many males and females you worked with. So instead of 29, you'd type in like 35 or 135 or whatever it is for your organization. You don't have to mess with the total. I already added the sum formula for you. You don't have to mess with the totals over here. Already sum that up. Just type the numbers in the yellow highlighted section. You're going to be golden. Here's the before version. It's the 4 3D crazy pie charts. This is a no-no. This is the enemy that we're trying to avoid. Here is one of the after versions. I think this is probably the most promising layout. I think after sketching all the options, it's stacked bar charts. They're vertical because time is ordinal and we want it to go across the page left to right. I like stacked bar charts for this because you can display males and you can display females and you can display the total. This is not a text box. I've seen people do it that way. That's a lot of work. This is actually a stacked bar chart with, I'll see if I can click on the right place. Can I, so you can see it? No, it's hidden. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's a stacked bar chart with 3 segments. So there's the blue piece, there's the orange piece, and there's the transparent white totals at the top that you can see are actually stretching off the page. But since they're transparent, you don't see them. I mean, they're there because I've shown you the secret, but none of your viewers are going to know they're there. That's how you get the labels to show up and tally automatically without you having to insert text boxes and try to center them just perfectly, which is way too much work. Okay, here's another version, same thing, a series of stacked bars. They're vertical, they go across the page, left to right. This one includes more explanatory text because it's designed for a handout or a report, something where you're not physically present in the room to serve as the subtitle. Your voice isn't there to discuss the graphs, so you need, a sentence or two up at the top. I've written some placeholder text, but you can, wordsmith this for hours if you want to get the wording just right. Okay, here are all the other choices that I had sketched on paper, but I wanted to show them to you kind of live, living and breathing, so you know what they would actually look like in their fully formatted version. So you could have a ton of tables. You could have a table just with numbers of people here. You could have a table with percentages. Again, don't mess with this percentage. It's gonna automatically calculate. It's already pulling in data from another cell. I also did some formulas here. These are all concatenated already for you if you want to combine numbers and percentages. You could also display a heat table where there's already automatic color coding living on top of these cells. I didn't manually adjust those by hand. Way too much work. Let the computer do all the heavy lifting for you. You could display a single year-end pie. Pie charts are tricky because some people out there are really anti-pie. I'm not anti-pie. Pies have their place, and you know what? One of their places is gender breakouts. Nominal variable, you can arrange these categories in any which way that you want. There's only one pie at a time. There's only just a few slices. Even if you had like a little third slice in there, a fourth slice is okay. It's not 20 million slices. It's 2D, not 3D, etc., etc. I have a whole blog post on pie chart guidelines and when they're okay to use and when they're not. So this is fair game, a gender breakout for the pie chart. For the year-end total, though, the aggregate sum, not for quarter-by-quarter patterns. That's not going to work. That's the before version that, again, we're trying to avoid. You could display a line chart with numbers. I added the inline labels here. That's Edward Tufte's graph table, which adds a ton of information into a small amount of space without it looking too overwhelming because the labels aren't on top of the pie. Excuse me. They're not on top of the line. They're not below the line. They're right through the line. Nice and crisp and clear and sleek. You could create small multiples line graphs, one for males, one for females, break them out separately. You could do a clustered bar. I'm not generally a fan of these, but they work. You know, there's only 2 pairs next to each other. I see these a lot with 3 bars next to each other, or 4 bars, or 5 bars, or 15 million bars. That's when they get a little bit overwhelming, but 2 is okay. You could do a small multiples bar chart, one grouping for males, one grouping for females. You could do, here was the winner in this case that I decided on, stacked bars with numbers. I use numbers when I'm talking about less than 100 people, and I use percentages when I'm talking about more than 100 people. I've given you percentages in this next one just so you can kind of spot the difference. When you're talking about way above 100 people, everybody's doing that mental math anyway. They're doing the proportions in their mind, so don't make them grab a calculator and figure out, you know, what percentage of people that we served were male each quarter. You know, I know the wrong number, but what's the percentage? That's too much work, so do it for them. You could display both numbers and percentages. I already concatenated the labels for you here. I don't display this very often, only for the most technical audiences, the people who are really engaged, who really have the appetite to sift through both the numbers and the percentages, because for the normal person, just make the call, like just use numbers or percentages for most audiences. Here's another option, also not my favorite. It's a stacked area chart. So it's a line chart, right, with shading underneath. It's stacked. It's that's what it is. Part to whole pattern over time, stacked area chart. These are really hard to fit labels on. They look really funny if you were to put a number here or a number here. That's why I rarely use them, especially if I only have 4 points in time, like quarters, or even if I have 2 years worth of time, 8. They just look too flat. They don't tend to be very interesting or useful. And the final one, also probably not that useful here, stacked areas with percents. So this stretches from 0 to 100%. Okay, I'll scroll back up to the top. This is the quickie view. Here are all the different choices. Whoa, 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 so many choices. So you can look at this file if you want. You can download it on my blog, nkemry.com/pie-chart-makeover, pie-chart-makeover. And type in your actual numbers into the highlighted section here. Everything will automatically update. Then you just take these charts, paste them into Word, and you're good to go. All right, thank you so much. Happy graphing.